Hello everybody, this is Simple Developer, and today we are going to be doing a tutorial on how to make the reveal shard from Dark Deception. This was requested by a viewer, and yeah, so let's get started. First, we want to create a folder. We'll name this models. If you already have a models folder, then good. Now we're going to create another folder in the content folder called SFX. If you already have this folder, then you can skip this. And then we're going to create another folder called materials. If you already have a materials or /textures folder in the contents folder, then you can skip that too. Let's get started on materials. We're going to want to right click material, and then we want to call this material red glow. We're going to right click, and then we're going to get a constant for vector. Then we're going to plug it into the base color. We're going to then click this, drag this all the way up, drag this all the way up, and then boom. Now you're going to want to hold down the M key and left click. It's a shortcut to multiply. We're going to plug this into A, and then we can right click, create a constant, and then plug that into B. We'll set this to like 5. And then we plug this into the emissive color. So now we have our red glow. Now we're going to create another material. This will be called reveal shard material, or we can short it down to matte. We want to then double click this, go back in here, left click, get another constant for vector, plug that into base color, and then we want to do the same thing here. Now we want to set our metallic to 1. Roughness will be set to 0. And maybe we can set it to 0.1, maybe 0.2. Yeah, I'd say 0.2 is good. It gives it that sort of like edge shading while keeping it reflective. Now that we have the materials done, we're going to go into models. Now that we have materials done, we're going to go into models, and I'm going to cut back when I have the model imported and the sound effect imported. Alright, so we're going to be using the official Dark Deception soul shard. I will be leaving a link to where I got this model. in the description below. We want to double click this, and then we want to give it our reveal shard material. So yeah, save that and then close that. Now we want to go into SFX. We have our reveal shard collected sound, and then we want to right click it, create a cue, and play it. Now we want to go into our let's create a quick simple AI. We want to get a blueprint character, and we're just gonna call this test dummy. We're going to, for now, just use a cube to represent this guy. But something else we need is we need a little triangle. Okay, I can't seem to find it. Usually, normally, I would say go into here, go into shapes, and then use shape quad pyramid, but that's a bit unoptimized. And using shape wedge A would be even more unoptimized. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up Blender. And don't worry, we're not going to be making anything like super complicated. We're just going to be making a very simple mesh. And I mean a very simple mesh. It is now open. We can go ahead and delete this, select and delete that, select and delete that. Now that we have a clean slate, we need to go up here, add mesh plane. Now make sure this plane is selected. We're going to go into the modeling tab. Now you can do this even if you can't move the camera around like I can. I'm just moving the camera around. In fact, hold on. So long as you have these 4 points, so like in view, it's very easy. You just need to select one, hold shift or control to, and left click the other one on one of the sides, and then we want to right click. I believe you can, no you can't. So basically, the premise of what we're doing here is we want to select one, hold shift or control, select another one, let go of shift or control, right click, and then go down to merge vertices, and we're going to merge at center. And then boom, that's that all done. We now can go back to layout. And since this little guy is not going to have any like detailing, texturing done on him, he's just going to have the emissive glow material we made earlier applied to him. So any sort of like thing that would look weird on this texturing wise will not be noticeable. So we want to go to File, Export, and now we can close Blender. Now we can go back in here, Models, and then I can just find that FBX file, drag and drop it into here, into our Models folder, import all, enemy location, and boom. We can go ahead and red glow, and we can look at it from in here. We can get a static mesh. It's going to automatically apply the enemy location because we had it selected in the view folder. Actually, we're going to go ahead and make this invisible. Make sure that the thing oh, that's why. So make sure it's pointing in the direction of this arrow, this little arrow right here. This little arrow just shows you the direction your AI is going to walk when walking forward. It's like a little forward direction arrow, just showing you where the AI character should be facing. And if you want, you can go ahead and like maybe move it up here, maybe center it a bit better. And then we can probably like scale this down to like 0.5. Move it back a bit. Yeah, that's good. And now we need to bring it down below. This should be at the same level you set your little square doodad for your soul shard, which I might have made a separate tutorial on. If not, it's generally the same premise. So let's say this is like negative 700. Now we can go ahead and enable the visibility on our cube again, just because I don't really like how this looks. Let's go ahead and this 0.5, 0.5, and then maybe 1.25 or 1.5. Yeah, that looks better. Or we can set this to 0.25. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So this is what your enemy AI should look like. We're not gonna like do much with this. We're not gonna program it to like actually move around and stuff, because we're only using this for this. Now, this is a new project. I do not have the map made yet, but it should appear on the map. I have a whole separate tutorial for making the map in Dark Deception or tablet, and yeah, I'll leave that in the description of the video as well as I'll also leave a video in the description of where I got this sound effect. And I forgot to put this into not visible. So yeah, now it's not visible. We should now start work on our the little reveal shard blueprint. We want to right click, get a blueprint class, make it an actor. We're gonna call this reveal shard. Now what I want to do is I need to get a static mesh. We're gonna call this reveal shard, and then in this static mesh we're going to get a what our reveal shard is, which whenever the engine wants to be a little oh, I know why it's doing that. Soul Shard Official. I forgot to rename it to Reveal Shard. Anyways, this is a bit too big. So, for scaling purposes, we're going to go ahead and drop this in here, and yeah, you can see how big this is compared to our player. It's like twice the size of our player, so that's not good. So I'd say set this down to 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, and then you'll notice it's in the air. So let's go ahead and stop that, and then let's go ahead and run a test play. See how it's not really that big, though it is really close to the ground. So I'm going to probably also set this as 0.2. So yeah, we can go ahead and delete these. Sequence event, get a sequence off of event begin play, and we're going to do a little bit of setup. So first off, we're going to drag off then 0. We're going to get a timeline, add timeline, and we're just going to call this rotate. We can play from start. If you're wondering how I did that, I just held down Control, left click, hold it, and then drag it to the thing I want it to be connected to. It's a very, very simple thing. So now we're going to double click this. We're going to get this little tab here where we can change a bunch of different things and add things. We're going to want to set this to like something like 1. Actually, I'm probably going to set that to 2. So this controls the length of the timeline. We're going to add a float track. We're going to call this rotation. Before we do anything with this, we're going to check loop. Now we're going to right click on the track, add key to curve float 0. So now we can change the time and value of this keyframe. We're going to change its time to 0, and we're going to change its value to 0. Now we want to add another keyframe. We're going to set this time to 2. And we're going to set the value to 360. Be sure to hit enter when you're done with inputting values, because if you just click off of it, it will reset the value to what it was originally. We're going to compile save, go back into our event graph, then we're going to go off update, and then we're going to get set relative rotation. We're going to set the relative rotation of our reveal shard, and then we're going to right click this, split struct pin, and then we're going to connect our Z to our rotation of the timeline. Very simple thing to set up. Let's compile and save, exit that, and then play. So yeah. In my opinion, that is a bit too fast, so I'm going to go ahead and open this back up, set the length to 3, and you can see when I set the length to 3, it turned all this, what was originally grayed out area, into a lighter area. And we're just going to set this second keyframe's time to 3. Compile, save, exit, play. Now that's a lot better. Still a bit fast, in my opinion. I'd probably set it to like 3.5 or 4, but you can tweak it however you want. But I'm done with tweaking numbers. This is a tutorial just showing you how to do stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and open up our reveal shard blueprint again. Now, we're going to get this, and what I want to do is I want to change collision presets to no collision. Generate overlap events off. Anyways, I'm doing this because well, you don't necessarily have to turn off generate overlap events, but you want to set the collision presets to no collision, because in your game, you're in Unreal Engine uses something called a nav mesh bounds volume to basically determine where all the AI character can move, and if you have this set to like block all dynamic or block all, then it is going to consider this an obstacle, or in a sense a wall in the nav mesh, meaning that the AI will either have to walk around this or it won't be able to walk around it, and it might get potentially stuck. You want to do this for your soul shards too. So yeah, we're going to set that to no collision, and then we're going to add a component. We're going to add a box collision. Actually, no. we're not gonna add a box collision. We're going to set the collision preset to overlap all, and then turn generate overlap events back on. So with this, I'm gonna compile save, and then I'm gonna also add audio, and then we're gonna call this collection, and then we're going to get our reveal short collected queue. We want to then scroll down and turn off auto activate. And then what I want to do is I also want to get a particle system. We want to then go up here, and we're going to use the explosion particle system. Once again, we're going to go down here and turn off auto activate, and this will be a modified explosion particle system because yeah. So let's go ahead and modify that now. We're going to go into starter content, particles, and an explosion. Now I will say, if you're using Unreal Engine 5, because for some reason they decided, hey, let's just get rid of cascade particle systems and keep the Niagara ones. And while I do support that, I'm like, yeah, Niagara is a lot more versatile than Cascade. It kinda screws over people like me who took the time to learn Cascade. Anyways, we want to delete this, delete sparks, delete firelight, and delete smoke, so that we keep this sort of like shockwave. And now we go to color over life. We drop this, drop this, drop this, drop this, and then drop these two. We want to set this to pure red. And then set that to pure red too. So yeah, save that. Go ahead and close that. Anyways, let's go ahead and go in here, and then just for preparation, I'm going to set up a few variables. These variables will be location variables. Lock 1, location 1, and then we're going to make this public, so each instance of this blueprint can be edited for this variable. Then we're going to go up here, set this to a vector, and now we create another variable. I'm probably going to make 3 or 4. Lock 2, lock 3, lock 4. So these are all location variables. We're going to go ahead and set all these to instance editable, compile save, and then we're going to want to, well, in most cases I will just say have the reveal shard teleport to teleport the actor to location 1. And then we do a retriggerable delay. And then I'd say give this about 45 seconds. Actually, we're gonna do 40 seconds. And then we're going to set visibility of the reveal shard to false. Okay. 40 seconds. We're actually going to create a new variable called is about to teleport. We don't need this to be instance editable, but we do need it to be a Boolean variable. After 40 seconds, we're going to create and set this to true. Have another retriggerable delay. For 5 seconds. Set that to false. And then teleport our character to the location 2. We can then grab all this, Control C and Control V to copy and paste it. And then we just change this to location 3. Copy and paste it again. Location 4. And then copy and paste it again. But this time we're going to delete these, and then we're going to go ahead and pull it back here to location 1. You can have as many locations as you want, though be warned, the more locations you have, the bigger the line of code you're gonna have is gonna be. But yeah, basically what we've created here with this is essentially a loop. Now we're going to add a pin, get a branch, is about to teleport. If it's false, set visibility of reveal shard. In actuality, we're gonna get a sequence here. Oh, and make sure this is true. Set this to retriggerable delay. And then we can just get a 0.1 with this. And then have it loop back here. If it is true, then we will set visibility of reveal shard to false. Delay. We actually need another retriggerable delay. We're going to set this to 0.5. grab this, copy and paste it, set the target to reveal shard, and set this to true, and then we can go back here. Actually, we need another retriggerable delay at 0.5 again. So what we have here is a system that waits for a bit, and then basically it just waits a bit, and then it triggers this to happen, waits 5 seconds, and then it teleports and sets its visibility back to on, sets its visibility back to true, and repeats the cycle until it gets to the last one, in which case then it goes back to the first, and it essentially loops with a little bit of effect. So now we have all the boring scripting stuff out of the way. Well, the tedious scripting stuff out of the way. So now we get our reveal shard. We then okay. So unfortunately I could not find the artwork for the enemies revealed pop-up that happens whenever you collect a reveal shard in Dark Deception, but I will go ahead and set this up. It just won't look as good. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new folder. We're going to call this UI, and then we're going to create a little thing down here in user interface called a widget blueprint. And then we're going to call this enemies revealed. Double click this, full screen this, and we have a canvas panel. We're going to get a horizontal box. Set the anchor to the middle. And we're going to set this scale to the entire thing. Not exactly sure if you really need this horizontal box, but I just do it. I always start off UI with a good old horizontal box. We want text now. We're going to get text, bring it down into this horizontal box, and then we're going to set this to fill, middle, bottom, and then we're going to set this bottom padding to 100. Let's actually set it to 75. No, 50. 50's good. We're now going to click on font, and then we're going to set the size to 60. And then we're going to go into text and then set this text to enemies revealed with an exclamation mark. Maybe we can set this to 70 or 75. Now we're going to set the color to red. And then we're going to add animation. Pop in. Okay. And we're going to add a track. Text block ones. Okay, so this is our, so we're gonna just transform. We're gonna set this to 0.25. Section. We're gonna set the transform for this down to a scale of 0. And then we're gonna set, actually I'm gonna reset this back to 1 just so that we can get the right angle. We're going to then 45, 35, 20, and maybe set the Y at like 5 or like negative 100. Now so 20 negative 100 0. Zero, zero. So then we add a keyframe. We're gonna add another track and set it to render opacity. Set this to 25, and then we're gonna set this back down to 0, 1, and then back down here. And then add a keyframe. So now we have this. And then we're gonna just add a keyframe here, and then we're gonna just set this down to like right here. And then we're gonna just set this down to 0. Then add a keyframe. So this is the animation. We might actually move this up a bit. It's a bit fast. we're gonna have that at 0.5, and then we're gonna just extend this out to 2 seconds. So yeah. Now we want to go ahead and compile, save, enter our graph, event tick, event pre-construct. Event construct is what we want. Play, I believe, animation. Play animation. Target is self. In animation. Get our pop-in animation. Plug it in there. And then boom. So now we have that complete. Okay, so we're gonna set our location values. So that's basically the premise. Now we're gonna move it somewhere. I'd say maybe right here. And then copy, paste, do the same thing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and speed ahead. Alright, so now that we have that done, we don't really need this to be out here, but then again, it's going to instantly teleport to where we originally placed it. So yeah. Now that we have all 4 locations set up, again, you can have as many locations that it'll teleport to as you want. So now we want to get this and get on component begin overlap. And actually, we're gonna open up the first person character. Create another variable. Enemies revealed. With a question mark. We're going to be using our first person character as sort of like the bridge between the reveal shard and the enemy AI. So we have this, we want to drag off this, create widget, nope. We need to cast to first person character, play our object into other actor, clean this up, and then we want to grab this, and then we want to play actually, on second thought, we do not need this. That is, and we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this too. So that is that. We are going to spawn sound at location. Then we're going to get our reveal shard. Get world location. plug this into location, get our reveal shard collected queue. And yeah, these are a bunch of settings we don't really need to change. And then we go ahead and spawn emitter at location. Once again, plug this into location. And then we're going to get our explosion emitter. Now we are going to get a we're gonna just actually we need to set this up into first person character first. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and right click in our first person character BP, and we're going to type custom event. We're gonna add a custom event, reveal shard collected. So we're gonna name our custom event that, and then we're going to set enemies revealed true, and then we're going to delay for 60 seconds, and then we're going to set it to false. We're going to compile save, and then we're going to drag off as first person character, get our event. So reveal shard collected. We're going to plug that in there. And then we are going to destroy actor, which is going to be self. So now that we have all that done, we can now compile save, and then we can go ahead and go back in here, go in here, event begin play, branch, which in actuality we need a sequence, and then we need to get a we're just gonna have a small delay here. We're gonna go ahead and get here, cast to first person character, and then for our object we are going to get player character, and bada bing bada boom, that's done. Now we gotta go off here, get reveal enemies revealed, plug that in there. If it's false, then we'll do once for false. Go ahead and copy and paste that and plug it into true. Now we're going to set visibility of our enemy location to true for this, and then plug this in here, false. Make sure those are connected. Alright. Now we want to connect this to reset for that, and then reset for that. In actuality, I think this would be better if I took this, brought it over here, and then made a custom event. Revealed. And then drag off this, set timer by event. We can set this to like 0.1, set it to looping, plug the event into here, and then boom. Easy peasy. And now we should be done with that. Compile, save. And now we test play. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit debug or camera. No. What is the command to do free roam camera? Actually, I have a smarter idea. It's not quite optimal, but it's smart for testing stuff like this when I don't have the map. We're gonna set this floor to material to glass. Why didn't I think of this earlier? So we can see there's nothing there. I'm gonna go ahead and collect this, and you can see it immediately appears. And in a minute or so, it should disappear. And there it goes. Something I did notice, however, is that we forgot to put the UI into the code. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this, and then sequence, and then drag off this, create widget, get this, enemies revealed, owning player is get player controller, and then add the viewport, and then boom, that should be that done. Now let's test it. In actuality, I'm actually gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it to teleport. And there we go, it's starting to pop in and out. And there we go. Now time to test. Yep, it works. So yeah, that is how you create the reveal shard from Dark Deception. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please just like and comment, it really helps out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, I really appreciate it. And hit that bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.